Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Harlequin here, and welcome to another episode of HarlequinCasts Dawn of War 2 Retribution. Today's game, I'm going to be covering the finals from the recent THQ Insider United Kingdom tournament that was held. That tournament is organized by a nice woman by the name of Kristen. She did an earlier one of those as well that I covered. I covered the semifinals and finals of it last time. I believe they were giving away a copy of Homefront to the winner. This time I didn't hear about too much in advance, and I could only get my hands on the finals, but I figured why not? For posterity's sake, let's take a look at this tournament and see what was out there. So I believe the winner of this tournament was given a copy of Darksiders, which is a game that is actually developed by Vigil Games, and they are a developer who is owned by THQ, who, if you don't know, owns Relic Entertainment, so that's how that all ties together there, of course. But let's go ahead and take a look around this map and get introduced to the players who are out there. This map, of course, is Leviathan Hive, and down here in the lower left-hand side, controlling the red pieces today, we have Dalr0n going to be playing as the Warboss today. Dalr0n, a fine individual, obviously from the UK, and I've seen him post many a replay before. And in the upper right-hand side, we have today playing as the Hive Tyrant, Mr. MeteorvsBunny today. So let's go ahead and get this game started and see what's going on here. MeteorvsBunny, not to spoil anything at all, but he was involved in that last tournament. He definitely made it to the semifinals. So he is certainly a contender out there. And, of course, Dalr0n as well. So let's go ahead and see what's out here. Immediately, we can see that the first thing out there that is significant is going to be the fact that MeteorvsBunny is going for double Hormagaunts right off the bat. Standard-looking build here coming from Dalr0n and all that. But that should be quite interesting. We'll have to see exactly what's going to come of that. And, ooh, it looks like MeteorvsBunny is actually going to be going for triple Hormagaun Brood. So he is definitely going for heavy, early, fast melee there, especially having a Hive Tyrant out there. But let's not underestimate the Warboss, however. He is, of course, a beater in melee and can do a lot of good AoE damage and things like that. So we'll have to see how all this plays out here. But so far, kind of standard-looking orc versus very dedicated heavy melee here. So it looks like normal-looking capture patterns going on. We can see MeteorvsBunny has grabbed a power node and is upgrading it. Likewise, he's getting a victory point, just kind of spreading out, capturing random stuff. Looking around, almost the identical thing going on right now for the orc player. Just kind of spreading out, capturing various things out there. Not too much to be said there. By the way, just kind of as a side note, you guys might notice this. I am going to start using this more. A fine gentleman by the name of Kolaris put out a detailed tooltip mod. You can see down here it's got unit type and armor and all that sort of thing. So I'll go into that more in later casts, but just so you know, that's what I'm going to be taking, that's what I'm going to be using a lot more now. It gives much better tooltips when you hover over things. So anyhow, right now we can see the first sort of light skirmishing that we've got going on right now. We've got these Hormagaunts just kind of getting right on top of all of these gentlemen here. And this is something that the orc player really has to look out for so far here. If Dalr0n's not careful, he could just get swamped by a bunch of Hormagaunts. And oh no, that's very unfortunate right there. This is exactly what MeteorvsBunny is looking for, is to retreat through a whole bunch of melee units. Now remember that when units retreat, they actually take extra damage from melee. So of course, just a whole bunch of losses right there. It's really better just to kind of run away, like by manually clicking on the ground in situations when you're swamped by units like that. Again, we have a whole other squad here that was chased down from the north, and they just basically retreated directly into two Hormagaunts. Hormagaunts just getting lost. Look at this guy. He's like, let me at him, just chasing after him still, even after the rest of his friends left. But we can see here the Hive Tyrant is really just going to kind of tank for these Hormagaunts. The Hormagaunts are pretty weak to focus fire, so you got to be careful with them. But as you can see, he is just going for the throat here. Just kind of keeping the pressure on the front of his base right now. Dalr0n, of course, is getting some pretty good focus fire off. You can see the first squad here of Hormagaunts having to leave. Another squad up here decapping this fully matured requisition point, so that's pretty sweet. And over here on the right-hand side now, boom, there's a nice-looking stomp coming out of the Warboss, who's a little bit obscured behind that pole there, but I guess you can see him okay now. So now the Warboss here is just going to be trying to kill some models off of this Hormagaun squad. You can see, however, the Hormagaunts are looking like, they're going to take some focus fire here from the Shooter Boys. So now it's pretty much Big Fatty versus Big Fatty here over on the right-hand side. Warboss versus Hive Tyrant. However, the Warboss is cheating a little bit. He's got some backup here with guns, but that's okay. It looks like the Hive Tyrant has his own friends coming into the battle as well. Going to start chasing away these orcs right now. And you can see just leaping on top of them right there, doing lots of damage, and unfortunately they retreat right away. But it looks like they had enough of timing there. The Warboss, too, is just about to get pounced on by quite a bit of this here, but he's a pretty tough guy, and he'll be okay for the time being. Again, if you want to notice these tooltips, notice how Adrenal Glands is telling me health and damage by 10%, speed by 1. So it actually gives a little bit more information about the actual upgrade there. So pretty useful indeed. Now we can see still MeteorvsBunny here is just going straight for the early tier 1 stuff here. It looks like all 3 of his Hormagaunts have been upgraded to have Adrenal Glands. So they are going to be really, really vicious in melee. And he's even got the Spore Mines coming out. So very, very aggressive play here coming out of MeteorvsBunny. We'll have to see what's going on. You can see already all the fighting is really happening on Dalr0n's side of the map right now. He's just trying to hold on here and defend his power generators. He does have 3 generators going up right now. 3 as well for MeteorvsBunny. I don't see... it looks like 1 power node is getting upgraded right now for MeteorvsBunny. The other power node is up for Dalr0n, so they're pretty much equal like that. It looks like the Hive Tyrant going to have to get out of there. Oh, he used a little bit of his charge on the retreat right there. That's exactly what that was right there. You can see he does have his extended carapace upgrade here, and he just charged just to knock over that one last retreating guy. The Hive Tyrant's charge does actually affect... The knockback does affect retreating units, just enough for those Hormagaunts to sit down and eat that last gentleman right there. So first kill goes to MeteorvsBunny in the form of a Slugga squad there. So you can see now the Hormagaunts combined with the Spore Mines trying to crawl on in and get some damage there. There was a little bit of that aiming what's that ability used off of the big shooters right there, used to suppress a little bit. Definitely brought some much needed time. But now you can see the Hormagaunts here, whenever they're left alone, they're just going to chew away at some of these power nodes. And already that's looking like it's going to be a real hassle here. You can see that the Warboss really doesn't have any trouble dealing with these guys. Not only does he have, he's got the Cyborg implants and the Angry Bits. Not a bad idea at all if you're going to have to deal with a whole lot of Hormagaunts. The Cyborg implants gives him that humongous stomp ability right there. And also increases health by 100. Notice how it gives you an exact number there. Nice little tooltip mod there. I will put the link to that tooltip mod in the description of this video, by the way. But it is a 2-cap right now for MeteorvsBunny, 500 to 272. Just recently, it looks like Dalr0n was able to cap that. So he's definitely way ahead in terms of victory points right now, given the fact that he has even just started Tier 2. So despite the fact that he put so heavily into Tier 1, he's definitely first one out there. And bam, there we have the Angry, Now I'm Angry ability right there being used there by the Angry Bits. Doing quite a bit of damage, and now continuing to get some special attacks off. And now it looks like we're going to see, oh yeah, there's the big stomp. Boom! Knocking everybody back. That's exactly the kind of action that the Warboss wants to get involved in right there. You can see it just is fantastic against all these little guys here. Getting a nice little sync kill and discarding what's left over of the last Tyranid unit there. But now we're just going to have a matter of the Hive Tyrant versus this Warboss here in the center. And this battle could take a while. Let me look around here on the map and see what else is going on. We can see here we've got a couple of shooter boys just kind of sneaking around trying to cap the map here. For the first time, it looks like... Dalr0n does have a majority control over the map right now, so MeteorvsBunny is bleeding out. However, he's going to hit Tier 2 first, so that could be very important here. Taking a look around, looks like he's finished reinforcing some of his troops. And now we have a little bit of an attack coming here. And once again, just kind of instantly retreating his troops. That could be very dangerous if you're not careful about it, but it looks like he just wanted to get out of there in a big hurry. And now it's just going to be the Warboss versus the Hive Tyrant here in close combat. The Warboss is starting to take quite a bit of damage right now. There are kind of too many targets around him. We'll have to see, is he planning on suppressing it all? Well, I guess you can't suppress the Warboss, but he was planning on doing a little bit of damage. But, oh god, now he's angry once again, and comes a stomp, kaboom! Wow, it is raining Hormagaunts out here. That was a pretty sweet move indeed. Unfortunately, it was not enough to really stop the Tyranid. As you know, the Tyranid are without number. Plenty more Tyranid where that came from. Anyhow, so you can see both players now just about to reach Tier 2. Dalr0n is definitely going to be feeling a little bit behind pretty soon here. He does only have 2 units out. Stick Bombers, that's an interesting choice right now. Going to be going ahead for the Stick Bombers, which of course can throw big clusters of grenades and things like that. It's an interesting choice. I think it could be pretty effective there. I honestly would rather see some Storm Boys or just some really dedicated good melee units, but we'll have to see. I mean, that could be pretty good. Taking a look around down towards the bottom, you can see it looks like double shooter boy squads moving out once again. Got to be careful though. Still some Spore Mines hanging out here along with the Hormagaunts. However, the Hormagaunts taking a casualty and having to back off. They kind of need to ambush. They kind of have a hard time charging against things that can suppress them so easily. Looks like, however, though, double capping is going on right now for MeteorvsBunny, and he's going to stabilize at 404. Ooh, 404. Victory point not found. Looking more towards the south here, we can see here's one of these awesome battles where, ooh, we get the stick bomb is right on top of all that. Kaboom! Look at that, getting some nice looking stuns off. Doing a little bit of damage here, and even getting involved in melee here. So, oh no, now they're going to back off once again, and the Hormagaunts, oh, it looks like they're getting out of there too. We even see the Warboss getting in. That would have been a perfect charge had they continued pursuing those retreating units. He would have knocked the hell out of them. But it looks like, oh, there's that sync kill once again, and the discarded carcass of a poor little baby turned in there. Boom, there goes a Spore Mine right in the face, but he doesn't care. He's going to come up here and punch some more Hormagaunts. So it looks like the Hormagaun's still just trying to get a decap off without taking too many losses, and it looks like the Hive Tyrant is coming in to kind of save the day here. You can see discarding him with his hammer. He does have this big bang hammer, and you can see again the detailed tooltip mod there. So nice. And it looks like we're calling in some warriors here today. So, boom! He did that a little bit early because it didn't quite hit the warriors. And now the warriors are on the field. We do have the synapse going on between the Hormagaunts and the warriors, the warrior brood. And now the Warboss is definitely going to have, definitely going to have to deal with that in some way here. He has activated Hard Boys, though. Hard Boys! Sorry, never pronounce the H when you're pronouncing orcish things and all that. But that's pretty cool here. Anyhow, so he's going to be doing quite a bit of damage here. You can see picking up and discarding one of those warrior brood as well. And now there is a weird boy out of the battlefield, kind of knocking some of these gentlemen around. However, you will note that the Hive Tyrant does have the Crushing Claws upgrade here. And so as a result there, he's doing quite a bit more DPS. And man, that Warboss really should have retreated a little while ago. He is cutting it a little too close here. And boom! One more poke from that Hive Tyrant, and it looks like he is going to be going down right now. So that is definitely unfortunate there for Dalr0n here. He has just lost his second unit now. So taking a look around, he is now getting some Storm Boys, though. That could definitely help out. Hive Tyrant, however, capping this victory point. And it looks like we have a little ninja squad of Hormagaunts trying to go up here to the north, maybe to capture another point there. Oh, beautiful looking hand grenades thrown by those stick bombers. I guess I should just call them stick bombs, hence their namesake. But it looks like it's going to do some pretty good damage to these guys. They're going to have to retreat. And meanwhile, the Hive Tyrant down here getting that second cap off. So it is now points not found versus 183 right now. MeteorvsBunny to favor. It looks like we have yet another charge coming out of the Hive Tyrant, and got a little aggressive there. Destroyed a little bit more flora than fauna, but he's still getting some kills off there, so that's looking pretty good. You can see the Hormagaunt brood right now getting a little bit suppressed. Oh, and taking a weird boy shot directly to the face. It is important to note right now that it is definitely to MeteorvsBunny's advantage to be taking losses on this side of the battlefield. He definitely has humongous initiative just by hanging out on this side of the battlefield and forcing the fighting happening here. Good use of Ard Boys being used right there on the Storm Boys. The Storm Boys do have a knob there as well, so those guys should be quite tough. We've got some Warp Vomit being thrown down as well to kind of debuff these troops right now. Looks like the Weird Boy going to have to get out of there, though. I'm not quite sure why exactly he retreated there, honestly. Maybe he just, I don't know, actually. And we can see it looks like the Storm Boys there taking too many losses. Oh, and even the sync kill right at the end there. Storm Boys are just going to have to get the heck on out of here. And it looks like the Warriors are going to be hanging out for the rest of the kills here. So Warriors leaping in on top. Some stick bombs coming in behind them, but they're not too worried about that. But there goes the suppression from the aiming. What's that ability here? Important to note, though, it is a 3 cap right now for MeteorvsBunny. Only 100 points left in the bank for Dalr0n here. So Dalr0n's going to have to move sometime soon here if he wants to get out of his base. So it looks like MeteorvsBunny has him exactly where he wants him, right up against the ropes. It's very hard for him to get out right now. Oddly enough, even just going to go for a kill here on this generator. We can see right now the Warboss is coming back out, guns a-blazing, looking to kind of scare away these Hormagaunts. But honestly, at this point, it doesn't even look like they care. They're just going to go ahead and chop that down. No, once again, just going to go ahead and leave that generator at very little health and go for the real kills here. 55 points remaining. You can see, oh, beautiful retrograde charge there, turning right back around and knocking about his pursuers there, giving plenty of time for the Storm Boys to come in and do some damage. 37 points in the bank. It looks like the Warboss is going to be going for this victory point. And up north somewhere we have, oh, what do we got here? We've got, it looks like we had a weird boy up there trying to take care of business, but no, he was popped by a whole bunch of Hormagaunts. So unfortunately, It looked like Dalr0n tried his best to try and cap 2 points at the same time. That's usually the only thing that'll get you out of this situation, but his Northern Assault didn't really work there, and it's just going to take him too long. 5 points left in the bank. I don't believe that the Store Boys are going to be able to get that in time, and it looks like MeteorvsBunny is offering out a GG there, and GG it is. So this is actually a best of 1 in the tournament, so a good game to MeteorvsBunny. He won himself a copy of Darksiders. You guys should check out THQ Insider if you want to look for these kind of tournaments again in the future. I'm Harlequin. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you next time.